And we're live. Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, welcome to the Beacon TVL show, the weekly podcast from Beacon DeFi, your beacon in the world of decentralized finance. I'm your host, Professor Chris, the DeFi professor, and we've got a great show lined up for you as we tackle the news of the week that's relevant to you, our dear users in the world of on-chain investing. Today on the show, we have core contributor to Flix.Fun. We have the cosmician himself. We have Daya here from Flix.Fun on the panel today as our featured panelist. How are you today, Daya?
I'm doing good. How are you doing, Chris?
I'm doing well. Thanks for being here today. Uh, we've got a lot to talk about with regards to what you guys are doing because this is a very special episode of the TVL show. We're actually here an hour earlier than we normally are. So, thanks for being here with us today. And what we'll do is we'll start with what we normally start with, which is a look at the markets. But one second while I get our link out here so that everyone can definitely check it out for Twitter. And just do a quick retweet here. And we are good to go with the rest of the show. Okay, so looking at the markets right now, we've seemingly come back from, well, I say that as there's a fat red candle straight down on Bitcoin. We went down to 99, back up to about 105, and then now we've kind of clawed back about to this 101 range. Bitcoin's still looking okay, up 1.1% on the day. Overall, we've kind of been in this fairly volatile pattern, which frankly kind of has this uneasiness, right? We're waiting for the US government to, for the most part, reopen at this point. And that should bring in some bullish news whatsoever. If we take a look at crypto bubbles, something we also look at here today on the day, we are fairly red all over the place. If we look at the week, it's a little bit of a different story with some interesting news bites that we'll talk about with what's going on here with the news. So wanted to kind of get your opinion, Daya, with how you see the market. Do you think that there's like a little bit of a panic, or is everybody just kind of holding on and this is still the mission of what we're supposed to be doing here in this space?
Definitely looks like this year has been a bit of harsh on both stock markets and for alts at least. But looking at the bright side, BTC, Ethereum, some of the good, the top coins have been moving pretty decent. And the fluctuation that we've been seeing for the last 2 weeks around BTC and Ethereum is normal, I believe. Nothing to panic around. And when you look at the bright side, right, during the year end, definitely there'll be some sort of market action because of festival seasons and everything around. If you consider, right, there is a bit of monetary movement, majorly happens around festival seasons. When you look at advertising markets, when you look at financial markets, or in general, people buy and sell a lot during these seasons, and you definitely see some sort of action. And I think I'm on the on the bright side, looking forward for a great year from 2026, I'd say, because with the kind of products that's lined up from PayPal, Stripe, and some of the the Web2 guys who are big in e-commerce and the kind of financial markets. Uh, I'm seeing the bright side that it's going to take um, crypto markets to the next stage of expansion, to the larger masses. So yeah, definitely this looks fine, and definitely it's going to be a great season, I believe.
I know we're sitting here kind of talking about the fact that people are going to say Bitcoin's in free fall and they're in a little bit of a panic. But if we think about where we were at the beginning of the year, I mean, we were at $80,000 for Bitcoin. So to be quite a bit higher at this point in the year, even in a post-halvening year, is still really bullish, I think. Obviously, we want to see more and up and to the right. There's a lot of factors that are going to be into what that catalyst could be to see what that end of the year target possibly could be. Is it going to be 130, 150, 250, 250,000, according to some analysts? And there's still some that hold out for $1 million, which would take an amazing hyperinflationary event for that to just kind of scoop up that far. But we're seeing a lot of interesting signs across multiple ecosystems that this bull run is going to continue. And I think we'll what we're going to talk about today, I think, is really going to be the foundation and the catalyst for what's possibly going to bring more people back into this space and bidding on things. Speaking on that, we'll go ahead and move on to our news today. The first is going to be with a protocol that you and I both know pretty well, Dia, which is Uniswap. Founder Hayden Adams, who I got to meet in New York, by the way, got to shake his hand and tell him thank you for all the great work that they've done here in this space, specifically with concentrated liquidity. That is the backbone to a lot of the strategies that we talk about here at Beacon DeFi. Now, it's always been a bit of an albatross, if you want to call it, to be a uni token holder, because frankly, you got nothing for a very long time by being a uni token holder. But there is a new proposal finally to turn on a fee switch specifically to benefit uni stakers. Now, it has to be passed, and I can't imagine, frankly, in any universe where this won't pass unless there's just something really wrong with this plan. But the idea would be to burn uni token and send sequencer fees into that burn to increase the value of uni unilaterally. Not to be not to put a pun there. The news of this proposal overall has already launched the uni token yesterday, up almost 40%. So, with uni v4 starting to kind of dig in and take hold on that, it's good to finally see a little bit of incentive for that. Di, you guys have a little bit of experience specifically with with stakers and that. Do you think this is a really bullish move? And what do you? I guess, would you be a uni staker at this point on news like this?
I mean, like having been in Cosmos for a very long time, having been since the launch of the testnet, Cosmos testnet to the current phase, I definitely say there is a kind of a serious interest in staking, and it depends on the kind of models that the chains bring forward to make sure they reward their stakers at the same time while securing security. Yeah, I think it might be a good move for uni holders. Definitely, they'll earn money from the fees, and which is giving back to the holders, as in the community. It's a good move. Uh,
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and just to kind of look at Ryan Sean Adams from Bankless's comment here. I mean, it wasn't that long ago that there was a Wells notice given to Uniswap, frankly, putting them in danger of being prosecuted by the government for being I guess it would have been an undisclosed securities broker. I think is what the charge was going to be. Obviously, now that President Trump is in office, that has all gone away. In fact, the entire ethos of what DeFi is, according to current SEC Chair Paul Atkins, is ingrained in the everyday liberties of every American. Which, still, where we were looking from a year ago to where we are now is a complete 180 from the SEC on this. So yeah, this is great for Uniswap. This is great for uni holders. For all new uni holders and stakers, I guess we'll see how that kind of plays out. I have a long time small moon bag of uni after kind of giving up on the fact that we may never actually get any type of value specifically for holding uni. Now we have that. And I'm hoping that this is going to kind of carry uni into that next chapter, mainly because, I mean, they've made a ton of money. They started charging, 0.25% on the majority of their front end DEX work, and that's helped them make hand over fist money. So, we'll see exactly how it goes from here, and especially with what they're doing with Unichain, with a lot of their cross-chain platform, I guess, liquidity operations now that they have across, and they can go to HyperEVM, they can go to Solana, and all these other chains. I'm excited to see what's there. Second thing we'll talk about specifically is from Coinbase. So, how do I feel about this? Well, this makes sense. Since they bought Echo and Sonar from Kobe, they've launched the token launchpad, right? So, what they're looking to do is create token launches at a much better scale. This is not the same token launchpad as, say, a Pump.Fun. It's not going to be the same as like Bonk.Fun or anything like that. These will be very curated. You have to be a KYC user of Coinbase in order to participate in the sales. And I believe they're actually going to punish any address or user that is going to be flipping positions. So they want you to actually hold these sales. And the longer you hold, I guess there's going to be some incentives uh, for that. Ultimately, for most DeFi users, that KYC statement is no thank you already, right? So this will be a very interesting round of what they're going to do. Now, the interesting part, and I forgot to put this on here, is that the first token that they're going to be launching with specifically for the Coinbase launch is going to be Monad, the layer one that has been hyped to launch damn near 2 years now. uh, to say blockchain has had a very long head start ahead of them, but and I have a there we go. Shout out to Abby from AP Collective for the tweet. Monad actually has an actual announcement on this with their actual tokenomics, but the sale is going to happen on Coinbase on November 17th, 9 a.m. Eastern, going to November 22nd. So I'm personally not going to get into the sale. I don't know, Dyer. How do you feel about Coinbase trying to make a go of something like this? Are you going to participate in the Monad sale?
Definitely, I mean, it's a good move that they acquired Eco, and since because Eco has all of these tooling with KYC using Sonar and all of these, and Coinbase having an exchange with KYC, it's definitely a good move for them to curate good or use this platform to launch early access to their own users via token sales, which is very beneficial if you look at it because it's like pre-launch, pre-sale, and then it goes to trading. So it's very good move and definitely uh, looking forward for Monad launch because it has been delayed for very long time. Otherwise,
Very
the
long
chain has
time.
been there. Yeah, the chain has been there. The community is doing decent. If you look at it, and I think it it'll be good for them since because they're dealing with base and yeah, it's nice collaboration for both Coinbase, Monad, and as in the acquisition for Coinbase as well.
Yeah, I think the move is fascinating, honestly, because Monad is very much a competitor to Layer One Ethereum, even though it's Layer One Ethereum compatible. They're trying to create a very high performant, high throughput chain because they're doing parallel EVM operations on that. For anyone who's curious about this, this is not an actual sale. I mean, this is a sale. This is not an actual like token generation event. What's that noise? Do you hear that noise? Oh, it's gone. Oh well. I was just like, there's a weird noise happening. Um, Regardless, this is not meant to replace the token generation event. This is an actual pre-sale, if you want to call it that. And you could say that these new public sales are like pre-sales in a way. Uh, and again, it's really more for people. The only good part about this, I will say, again, there's 7.5 million mon here for token sales. My guess is this is going to go quickly because you're going to see a lot of whales come in, and they can come in. Most of them have to be KYC'd anyway. They'll come in. You can come in with size at this and not have to worry. That's my guess on what it's going to be because the initial sale is at 0.025 per token with 7.5 supply being sold. So we'll see specifically how this rolls out. But
I think that's a good rate.
yeah, it's a good offer sheet for it, right? Tokenomics from Mon are under fire, but it's fine. They're sending a message, right? Because for airdroppers, they don't want a ton of airdroppers. They're fine with airdroppers, right? Because that's part of the hype cycle. That's part of getting people into the protocol. But overall, we'll see what happens. I'm bullish. To me, I was kind of hoping that they just never launched, to be honest, because frankly, because of the Barachain meme, right? Because Barachain was quote unquote never gonna. They were cute. They were gonna launch Q5 2024, right? and they ended up launching in quarter 1 2025. So it was always kind of almost like a meme that Monad was never going to launch. But now that they're going to, this is good. This is good to see. We'll see exactly what happens. There's more. I'm glad they launched now and not in the same time as like Arc and Tempo and some of these other chains coming, because it probably would have just taken away from their hype cycle. So before we move into the last piece of the news, I did want to talk about this is specific to our group. This is Adrena protocol, a perpdex copy from Jupiter's JLP on Solana. The main difference is JLP is in their perpdex, it's BTC, ETH, and Sol, heavily weighted on Sol, almost half, 47%. Adrena was Jito Sol, which is a Jito liquid stake version of Sol, Bonk, and then BTC for the actual perpdex triad there. Unfortunately, they seemingly have run out of runway, so they're actually going to be put into maintenance mode effective immediately. So if you have an ALP multiply position, let's say on Camino or something like that, or just have ALP holding, it's time to get out. So just wanted to put that out there. We have featured it multiple times, especially in our Beacon Spotlight, that where we feature the best rates that we can find in DeFi. So obviously, thanks to Adrena and their team for being very transparent about this in a time where there's not a lot of transparency. And obviously, best of luck to I think it's Loop Scale. I think is the main group that's kind of behind, or the mother umbrella organization for Adrena. And hopefully they can all find new opportunities and find better ways to make things happen. We thought it was a really cool idea. So we'll see what happens. What I wanted to move on next to, Dio, was specifically on a very interesting meta, which is the privacy meta. And I don't know where you sit on the spectrum of privacy coins. Obviously, Monero, Shade Protocol, things like that in Cosmos. The Winklevoss twins from Gemini, along with who else was on there? Balaji was on that stream today. Mert, quite a few big names in our space were on this space that I think might still be going on. Actually, I think they might have just finished, but they've created Cypherpunk Tech, a company dedicated for privacy and self-sovereignty, but specifically, it's focusing on Zcash, of all things. Zcash has had an amazing 2025. If we go back and just kind of see, the whole move of Zcash, which is ZEC, which there it is. Overall, hit an all-time high of 722 last week. And ultimately, we're seeing some moves with Zcash now. It's very interesting to see that privacy seemingly is starting to create its own new meta for itself in this AI bubble that we're in. I'll be honest, I thought it's all been fairly silly, because it just took 50 influencers to say, hey, did you know that Zcash has the same tokenomics and fixed supply as Bitcoin? And then people just started buying it in droves. Will they continue to buy it in droves? I'm not sure, but I'm wondering if a company like Cypherpunk, who has dropped in a $57 million seed to acquire 203,000 ZEC, an average price of 245 with the cost basis. Wonder how they got that. But good for them. We'll see. And before I get to you, I just want to also put out there is actually also in the community for Zcash a proposal to create a layer 2 on top of Zcash L1. I didn't even know they had an L1, honestly, called Starknet, from Starknet, which is the first group. Starknet is a fantastic layer 2. It's non-EVM compatible for the most part. But they created the first zero knowledge proof for Bitcoin layer 1 at Bitcoin Nashville 2024. So don't know where you sit on this, Di. Would love to hear your thoughts specifically on privacy from a Cosmos-based perspective, with a lot of projects there. And are you bullish for stuff like this? Is Zcash bold enough to be the flag bearer for this meta moving forward?
Yeah, definitely. I think privacy is pretty much required. As in, there are use cases where privacy is sought after, as in private deals, or when you look at deals that are happening private. they definitely can go on chain, use privacy tools like Zcash or ZK, zero knowledge proofs, and all of these to protect their privacy while also making sure that everything is on chain as well. So I think yeah, it has been a great run for ZC, and Zuku has been a great guy who's been working on a lot of things since I'd say early 90s and 2000s, because he's launched what's called Tahoe LAFS, which we've done a lot of research during 2018, which is a kind of file system that's prior to IPFS, but shares some of the fundamentals and has a great redundancy, like erasure, encoding to make sure that there is kind of configuration where you won't lose files. The shares are across, and they're protected as well. And yeah, he has built a ton of tools while contributing to open source during those early days. And yeah, very glad to see Zcash growing, because he's the one who has um, pushed forward a lot of initial Bitcoin pioneering as well. If you know, because he's been part of the Cyberpunk group for a very long time, and I might guess that he was a young guy in the old Cyberpunk group who was pushing forward various ideas. And yeah, I believe there is a lot going to happen in the you know, definitely Zcash ecosystem in the privacy moving forward, because there are use cases that definitely need these. It's not about that you need privacy to do some sort of illegal activity. No, it's not always to do illegal shit. Privacy is kind of responsibility that you grow using privacy, or you kind of deal, make deals in private, because not everything has to be in public to make sure that things are move in a kind of fashion. So yeah, um, definitely looking forward for a major expansion into privacy tooling starting from next year.
Yeah, I completely agree. One thing I definitely also wanted to talk about is with Cake Wallet. They are actually creating with Zcash. You can actually get virtual debit cards from Visa. This is actually really cool. This is actually, I think, only in there might be in multiple countries, but this is U.S. specific. They posted this yesterday. I thought it was really interesting to see that you can actually use your Zcash uh, or even Monero in this case
No, no.
to be able to spend your funds in a shielded way, right? So this is closing, because there's been a lot of work by multiple groups, right? Shout out to people like the Oasis team with their private smart contract layers. Shout out to people who've been on the show, like Hinkle Wallet, Georgie, and their group doing a an EVM wallet with private transactions. There's a need and a want by multiple power users or just everyday people who covet privacy. They want to be able to spend their money in a way that, frankly, no one should be spying on your purchases anyway. So, in terms of how
I mean,
yeah,
yeah, definitely. I mean, there is a lot of privacy that's needed, because if you look at the kind of bombarding happen via Web2 platforms, where they're like everywhere, right? Even in your bedroom via your voice devices, and
yeah,
it's everywhere. It's like kind of nightmare right now. And definitely with the kind of scrutiny happening over AI data training as well, how they've been accused of stealing books and whatnot. So I
exactly.
think, yeah, everything has to have certain, sort of privacy for it to not just, be there just, out in public. And definitely, tooling is much required for users to, not reveal what they're doing, as in like what they're buying, what they're consuming, and, not as in like illegal activities, but at least per se, you don't have to reveal, because you don't have to be a data, uh, you know, be a spec in a data set, and give a lot of information that put forwards patterns for advertisers, brands that might take advantage of such patterns, because patterns is all what they want to. It's not about that your personal data is something is being leaked, but yeah, patterns, all sorts of things that can help them to package something that you gullibility buy, or you kind of end up buying it without having to wanting to buy it. Like, people are doing impulsive buying these days. If you don't know, like, on TikToks or things like these, there are a lot of product, advertisers that make you sure that you're sort of scrolling and doom scrolling at the same time, impulsive buying, kind of cute stuff, these labubus, all of
Yeah.
these stuff.
No, you're right.
So
I mean, sorry to cut you off there. Go ahead.
no, it's no, it's no. Please wait.
I was just going to say that one thing that Will said here in the post is really powerful. In a world where privacy ceases to exist, it becomes the most valuable commodity. And we're in a world where zero knowledge proofs and privacy can go hand in hand here on the blockchain, mainly for not just freedom of data, freedom of custody, freedom of speech. We're in a world where things are being more and more controlled. They want to control the narrative, and that's where authenticity is going to be lost. So, you know, being in this privacy meta with zero knowledge proofs, where people can actually, provide what they believe is factual data, give it a generational, I mean, sorry, a zero knowledge proof, along with privacy tech. I think that's kind of the way to move, because authenticity, especially in a world with AI, as you mentioned, that's going to be the hardest thing to prove moving forward. So we need the tech in place to help combat what's going to become a more generated world. I know that's crazy to say in 2025. It's like this wasn't even a conversation not even 2 years ago. But now it's like you literally have to question everything, because is it generated or is it real, right? And also the surveillance state. You want to be in a world where you can have anti-fragile, censorship resistant money, resistant to inflation, resistant to programmability. We want that freedom and that self-custody to essentially be in control of our financial journeys, no matter how you
It's
do
very
business or
simple.
invest. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's very simple. That you need privacy to live your life. You don't need to bombard it with kind of shit. You don't need to be part of the larger data system or such. You just need privacy to have your own peaceful life that doesn't have influence of XYZ factors you know that could be anything. It could be a digital product, physical product, anything in general. So yeah.
No, completely agree. Well, and again, I want to thank Dia for being here today from Flix.Fun. Really important guest to have on today. I've been working with their team quite a bit over the last couple of months. Really excited about our conversation that's going today. If you like what you're hearing, please like, follow, subscribe. Like I said, we're here from Total Value Lock from Beacon DeFi. We are a DeFi education and onboarding company, and we do have a free group if you want to join, learn a little bit more about how decentralized finance and blockchain investing works. This is at Total Value Locked, our free group, school.com/beacon. And we've been doing this show every Wednesday since 2021. We're here to help take the news of the week with our panelists, with our special guests, and not only introduce you to new communities, but also educate you on how the news is being fed to you. We have very good takes today from Dia. I love everything he's had to say today. And if you want to learn more about how you can make your crypto and your digital assets work for you and not just hold it, earning nothing, please definitely come and check out a lot of our free content. We do have a free community training on Fridays as well called Beat the Banks at 3 p.m. Eastern. And you can join us today, school.com/beacon. Why? Because it's hard to do this by yourself. Let me tell you what, way too much choice out there, more than 200 active blockchains. If you want to know where to go, how to set up the positions easily, and take control in a self-custody world of your portfolio, create that all-weather portfolio, come and join us. Check out this pinned post here called Start Here. You'll get a message from myself and our CEO, Andrew. You'll learn more about our different pathways that we have. We have tons of free content, but if you want to be personally mentored by me, like I said, get that complimentary portfolio review, set up an all-weather portfolio, be part of the best in the world with regards to being in DeFi. Please join our Beacon Mastermind. I want to say, give, of course, a shout out to our Beacon Mastermind founding members, our current members, and our Beacon Challenge members who are out there just making all these great decisions and taking control of their financial freedom. Again, that's school.com/beacon. But we'll go ahead and move on to our featured guest. Of course, we are here with Dia from Flix.Fun. Let me get this a little bit bigger. And we're here today because we've got some special announcements, Dia. So Let's kind of get that out of the way first. What are you guys going to be doing over the next week with Flix.Fun?
Definitely, we have a lot lined up. First, we're going to launch contracts on the main base. With that, we'll be launching homepage creations, open for the creators to launch their homepages. They'll curate content from across the platforms. With that, then we'll move on to the media node launch in the subsequent weeks, where you'd be able to connect your homepage to the media node. That'll be like a Swiss Army knife. They'll help you launch live streams, run 24/7 broadcasts, run various fast models for content consumptions like free, advertised, or token gated, that sort of thing. So all of these are lined up on base with all of the Ethereum tooling. So yeah, pretty excited to get kickstarted on base with the launch of Flix.Fun homepage and all of the rebranding and everything. Your voice is muted, Chris, you muted.
I muted myself twice. I was looking to anyway, yeah, I love the creator tools that are here. What I wanted to kind of break down with Flix.Fun is actually it's two really big mechanisms here for creator tools. The first is the creator homepage, right? So in a way, it's just a really great way to host information about yourself as a creator. For most people who are in social media, there's like Linktree, there's Hoobie, there's a couple of different tools out there to help people learn more about where they can find more information about their favorite content creator on, let's say TikTok or any of those other those particular platforms. This is actually for decentralized on-chain media as an on-chain creator. So you have that homepage, and then you also have the media node, which is a little bit like DPIN, right? Decentralized Physical Infrastructure Networks, where you have the ability to have or host a node and earn off the usage of the node. If you can kind of explain specifically about being a node host, I think for a lot of people that are in this arena that are looking for some interesting ways to invest in this infrastructure, that might be a very interesting way to go about it. So if you have a second to just kind of talk about that, that would be great.
Sure, definitely. So, yep, we have our contracts ready on base as of now to launch media nodes. The the media node program is going to be application driven as of now. It's not publicly open to all of everyone as of now because we want to take it in a step by step fashion where we'd onboard slow it make sure that everyone is getting filled and then slowly onboard and make sure there is decent interest and home pages are getting created. It's like a flywheel. So it's not that just you host a node and it doesn't just stay dormant, right? It has to be moving and we make sure that we open up applications slowly and then yeah. Definitely, it's not like everyone could run a media node, and we don't need as many media nodes as and we just make sure that there is supply demand and all of it is in place.
So what's interesting is you have media nodes on both Base and Solana. What went
Yes.
into the decision to have them both on both there? Is it really just trying to increase coverage? Obviously, one environment's different than the other. So what was behind that decision to go with those two blockchains?
The idea is to make sure that the deep in infra is across multiple chains. It's not that we could only launch on one chain and ask consumers to come onto the other chain while swapping their tokens and doing XYZ activity, which is cumbersome and in most cases people are least interested in cross chain swaps until unless there is huge benefit for them. We've seen that time and time and again that the least bother to move assets across chain. So it's almost like you know there is no compulsion as such to just stick to one chain and ask them to come to one place and focus on single place. Instead, we would want to go set up shop everywhere, make it easy for them to deploy, run their own media nodes, and be part of their own ecosystem. Because yeah, there is no such thing as media node is only dependent on one chain. It's it runs on all chains. It supports multiple integrations as such. So yeah, we're going with Base to start with, and then we'll slowly roll out on Solana as we move forward.
Awesome. So as a creator or someone who actually wants to invest in the media nodes, What would you say is like, what do you normally put in? Is it just going to be videos? Is it music? Is it photos? What are the types of media that you accept in these notes?
So definitely. I mean, all of the kinds of medias you said are accepted. Both pictures, videos, audios, even script text documents as such. Using all of these, yeah, you can definitely publish various types of contents, and yeah, we'd also be building repurposing tools, recreation tools on top of these using AI, training as such, giving more power to creators such that they don't have to move their content from their private space, which is their media node, which is their sovereign setup. They have full control on the sovereign setup, as in nothing goes down without their control. So this gives them full authority to train data from single source of truth, at the same time distribute from single source of truth using homepage as interface, their own sovereign apps as an interface. Because Media Node supports self-publishing, meaning you can publish content to homepage, and at the same time you can publish content to your own myname.com, meaning the media node can be configured to serve content on myname.com, my own domain as such. That way, you have full control on your revenues. You don't sacrifice your revenues to anyone. You can support multiple tokens, not just one token. It's kind of freedom that you get to distribute in your own way. Like it could be free, it could be paid, it could be token gated, it could be any a combination of such you know packaging that creator wants to. So yeah, it supports both live VOD and in live as in it'll support events. It supports 24/7 autonomous broadcasts where the, the stream won't go down, but it makes sure it follows a certain kind of programming, which could be dynamic as in if you have, let's assume, 100 assets with different types of categories, and then you can use all of these pieces together to automatically run schedules, you know, program schedules. So yeah, slowly we'll launch one by one, make sure to uh, educate the community and well informed prior to the launches.
And what I love about this as a content creator is just, as you mentioned, the ability to own your content, to have it on a decentralized infrastructure. So in the event that we have, multiple media outages, or you're in a situation where from a technology standpoint, people are holding your content, it's not the case anymore. You actually get to hold your content because, one thing that's great about this is you can curate your content from anywhere and store it inside the media node, which is something that you've already mentioned. So, from a creator standpoint, for me personally, I'm super excited about the ability to have control over my media, and I can stream it 24/7 to a page. I can, that type of thing. All of those tools, all of the use cases that I've seen so far, and being able to own your own content and have it in a decentralized setup is great. Uh, for people who have, uh, multiple different platforms, being able to consolidate everything into one platform that's decentralized, I think is very important because for me, I have podcasts like audio podcasts, video podcasts. I have video guides, and pretty much they're all stored on 3 or 4 different platforms, and I'm counterparty to those. So if one of those goes down, my content on that platform is gone. So the ability to have one spot where you can consolidate and have everything hosted, that to me, that's the biggest sell as a content creator. Uh, let's talk a little bit about this creator homepage because I think this is so cool. For me, this gives a much more interactive version of a Hoobie, of a link tree. And I know I said this morning when I was on your guys' podcast this morning. It kind of reminds me, has vibes of MySpace. And I know many of you listening to this have no idea what I'm talking about in MySpace, but the ability to have a page that was yours, the front page to you and who you are as a person on the internet, that's what this represents, in my opinion. It's a lot more engaging. There's a lot more things to do. I'll show you a little bit of mine. And again, I'm still working on it. And this is more of just an idea of what it looks like. But again, I have a picture of myself along with my social links. You get a link to my Twitter, which will be embedded at some point. I have a banner. I have my latest video, which would be streaming 24/7 or just on demand 24/7. So you have this ability as a content creator to have maximum discoverability because you have multiple ways for people to view your content. So as a content creator, this is very, very important. We'll probably have one of these for beacon content at some point as well, because for a lot of people, it's about trusting the creator that you're watching, right? People are fans of creators with content that they can watch and view at their leisure, and that's what this does. It puts a lot of power into one platform, uh, which I think is great. I'm really excited to see, how this is going to move forward. So, just to get your thoughts, Dia, specifically on the creator homepage, what do you think are the main benefits for people who are going to be creators in this space?
See, definitely, as you said, like, creators do distribute on multiple platforms in general, like on YouTube, in Instagram, TikTok, X.com, all of these in general. But there is a single place for them to curate or make sure they feature their own content with from multiple platforms. You either have to launch your own site, as in your own domain.com something, and then you have to build your own app on top of it, which is very hectic for a creator in general. They're not technically equipped, because of which they won't go out there, create their own pages. Yeah, if they want to do it on some other platform like Blogspot, WordPress, XYZ, existing platform, they can still do it. But necessarily those platforms are not serving creators alone, which means creator have to definitely customize their own site, which needs technical skill again. Otherwise, you'll have to hire someone as a developer who would customize it for you to, as in a single source of truth or a distribution platform. So looking at all of these, existing tooling and the kind of distribution creator does, and the kind of capabilities that they bring onto table, we envision a page where they could curate their content from across platforms, at the same time featuring what they want to. It almost serves as a single source of truth, kind of link tree, kind of Pinterest, kind of blogspot, specifically for creators, meaning they could sell, monetize, and distribute their content with full utmost control, making sure the homepage doesn't look dormant as such, and featuring their recent creations, making sure all of the communities go into single source of truth, and from there they could go to X.com, YouTube, Instagram, as in when they're promoting. Because if you look at it currently, they're using link trees. Most of the creators are using link trees to at least um, you know have all of them at one place for user to just navigate through. On top of this, we're making Linktree and Pinterest, we're bringing LinkedIn and Pinterest together and adding steroids to it to even distribute, control, monetize, and also not lose control on your existing platforms. Meaning, with Media Node, you can connect your Google account that connects to your YouTube, that helps you to live streams, update metadata, also sync content from YouTube to your media node. So it's vice versa. So you can distribute and at the same time sync back. Meaning you don't lose content if in case something happens to YouTube. You have all of it in one place. You have the years of hard work in one place, which is preserved with its metadata, with its file intact, and you don't have to worry if something goes wrong. So with this kind of control, you get to do a lot of things, as I said, like launch your own app, launch distribute to homepage, distribute YouTube, plug and play with multiple integrations that'll come soon. So yep, your own homepage can become a mini app on base, something like this. So we're thinking around, and we're making sure that we're helping creators to have those kind of integrations that help do more.
Yeah, I completely agree. Um, So, one thing I wanted to talk about, and this is, I wanted to get your thoughts overall about this current new creator meta we're calling creator capital markets, or CCM. It's the idea that creators have a new way to get into content creation where they can actually earn their own fees with a very little barrier to entry to create an audience, right? They can monetize. The best version of that right now, in my opinion, is probably going to be on Zora. This is a Coinbase pushed app. It's very integrated into the new Base app, integrated into Farcaster. Uh, This is where a lot of people are starting to create an on-chain presence. This is where Flix.Fun, I think, is going to have a huge part of this narrative. So I think bringing this on chain, promoting decentralized on-chain media is so important. This is going to be an important inflection point today and tomorrow for you guys when we look backwards in history. So along with Flix.Fun, and maybe it's just Flix.Fun, what are the major tools that you think creators are going to need to be successful in the on-chain media space?
In on-chain media space, definitely finance and the media should come together. It's
Mhm.
something that Pump is working on. Base is also pushing forward through Zora, Forecaster, because crypto hasn't made it entries into masses as in like social consumers or the creators, because they're currently making their revenues on YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok, and which they're doing good, and they're currently focused as much as there, because they're not much educated on the Web3 financial instruments, or the ecosystem as such. They're still skeptical because governments are not yet agreeing to, or at least they're in gray areas where they're not able to take decisions, because of which I believe a lot of creators are the ecosystem that the Web3 is yet to expand to is just waiting. From next year, I believe, because of a lot of regulations around crypto, there'll be a lot of interest into social and both financial markets on Web3. At least social, because it's easy, it's straightforward. You just onboard yourself, you, you create something. You don't have to spend money, because spending money is something that you have to have money to spend. So that's something that financial markets in general are not heavily used by average social media user, because they're not fully equipped with money as in to even experiment swaps, to participate in some giveaways or airdrops as in that's been there, but that's not currently from the larger average user. So definitely looking forward for a crypto's expansions into social ecosystem with both economic and bridging gap between economic and media as such. Definitely, bullish on the base. Base is pushed towards the social and the media aspect of crypto, because none is currently interested in pushing crypto towards these categories, because currently crypto is pretty much focused on financial tooling, financial instruments, yielding out of those financial instruments. Nothing beyond that. There is not much you could do outside the financial. There was NFT marketplaces and stuff that has been there. Their waves has been ups and down. After which, if you look at it, there is ain't much generic tooling, right? Slowly there is betting markets. There is yeah, financial markets around at least bets. You know, all of these are slowly coming up with poly market, Kalshi, all of these. So yeah, with these kind of tooling, we'd onboard the next set of users into the crypto that uh, makes its expansion into the next phase. Yeah.
Yeah, and we have things now with like X402 for easy payment rails. I do think I'm just trying to think like in terms of other tools that are available. I mean, to me, every time I come back to it, that media node is such a powerful tool. Uh, to be able to own your own media and be able to just broadcast it wherever you want to any platform that you want. I'm trying to think of another. What else do you think could be the spark that blows this movement wide open? I guess so. Uh, Obviously there's going to be a lot of creators who are going to see this and like, oh, this is really just all I need to kind of get started, because for a lot of people it's not the content that's the problem, right? It's the distribution. That's always
Yes.
the biggest issue. So um yeah, I mean, I guess that's going to be the next thing that I'll ask is like, um what are you guys going to do to help with the media node to make distribution uh, king in this
Correct. So
space?
the major thing for MediaNote for it to have a larger distribution is to have integrations. The more integrations. If you look at the current media node, it has integrations into YouTube and current live ecosystems as such, and slowly we'll have integrations into AI, into other distribution tooling or creator tooling that'll help them do more. Meaning, currently, if you look at creators, right, their day-to-day ops are based on their NAS servers, their systems, which is not collaborative in general, right? They're not collaborative as such. You have to send them a transfer link or some sort of drive link after your edits are done, and it's a kind of cumbersome process that creators and then the content writers or the whole ecosystem goes through. There is no single source of truth for them to just go access it, work on top of it, and move forward the pipeline. So yeah, definitely we'd be working on making creators do more with their existing content. At the same time, the content that they are able to generate using AIs, or doing more content on top of their content using AI plus additional tooling, all of it. So yeah, distribution, as you said, distribution is a key thing for creator more than being on multiple platforms, because they have to grow, they have to keep doing or keep following the trends, and make sure the content is in line with the community, and the community also should be rewarded in a way. If not, what's the interesting point for a creator, I mean user, to follow a creator in general? Otherwise, if not, the content is good, but if the creator give back to his community, then there will be more the kind of content they want. They can fund the creator for their next episode, maybe take revenue shares from them, or push forward what the community wants, as in from the creator. So they could say like, do you want me to produce A, B, C, D? Vote on anything. If you want to fund it, fund. I'd give you revenues backward. That could be something that encourages the creator ecosystem to launch their tokens, slowly expand into their communities. So yeah, we have a lot of crowdfunding areas, fractionalization ideas around IP, meaning you could license out only audio right or video right, but yeah, it depends on kind of creators and kind of tooling that's there. After looking at the stories, IP, and all of these, we think IP is not yet in a stage where people are ready to adopt. But otherwise, we have full clarity on those kind of tooling. But yes,
No, I think it's
currently we
great. I'm really excited to see, what happens here, and just kind of talking about scaling with this specifically. Um, I think one big part of the CCM narrative that's huge for a lot of creators is that they get to own their own revenue, right? You're going to somewhere like Twitch or Kick, you may not own all of your revenue. They'll take a huge chunk of that with
40%.
regards to, yeah, 30-40%, right? So the ability to own your own
Minimum
revenue. What's that?
minimum 40. YouTube takes minimum 40 from a fresh
Exactly.
guy. If you are a part of an MCM, then the deal might be 37, 30, 70, something like those sorts.
Yeah, and
So
if you're
it
really if you're
depends.
really popular, it could be around that, right? But you're still giving up a ton of money.
Correct, correct. And you won't get to control or have direct engagement with your community as such. You never know who's who. You just get to pin something on chats and do some sort of meager activity, but you never know your community. You never can't keep up, or in direct contact with your community, which is very depressing as such. Because yeah, all these platforms do that. Even on Instagram, you don't know who your community is. You just know numbers. You know their name, but you don't know their. You can't reach out to them to sell something, or they can't reach out to you indirectly without through the platform. If it goes through platform, you're sacrificing revenues. You're sacrificing commissions. If it's outside platform, then you're working on something else like WhatsApp or WeChat, sending links, selling stuff. That's what current the selling or tooling is. So they discover themselves on Instagram, they sell stuff on WeChat or WhatsApp.
Got it. Let's talk a little bit about the mission and the roadmap from this point forward, right? So we're getting with the alpha launch of Flix.Fun. Let's talk more about, what's the roadmap for the next 6 months? How do you see the tools that you're building here a part of the creator toolbox to help make them successful?
So primary focus is majorly on the media node and creator home pages. As I said before, both of these will have more integrations, more tooling around them to make sure creators are using them. Uh, Not just like we build something that they don't want to use, right? It should be integrations, and, adoption, and the expansion into what. So we majorly focus on UI UX with both of these solving problem for creators. So yeah, we are majorly focused on integrations with Zora's forecasters to make sure that existing creators have these tooling, ready for them to take advantage of and do more. So if they have a creator token already launched, then they can use the creator token on homepage to distribute their content. They can sell only in their own creator token instead of taking Ethereum or USDC. There is an option. So all of these financial options will be integrated with streams of as in a token launch platform for creators to do small raises using their own home pages, showcasing everything as in what they are. So it gives them, we are making sure that we are fueling, giving tools for them to make sure they do more. So primarily focused on both media node and the home page. So they'll be having a lot of integrations and everything around.
Yeah. So my last question on this, and of course, thank you so much for your time, Di. I think it's been fantastic to talk today and seeing what you guys are doing here. To me, this is huge. I think as me personally, as someone who's going to be using this platform exclusively, I am so excited. I remember when Sisla brought it to me, and we've had Sisla on the show previously. Just talking about having a creator homepage. That literally, he told me that, and I was just like, "What do I need to do?" Because this, for me, this is the key for both discoverability and distribution. People able to check me out at one page without having to go through my entire library and having to watch hours of content. They can just go here and see the best of what I have to offer. Oops, as a creator. Sorry, I'm so
Yeah,
excited I hit my mic. So, what I wanted to ask is, for those who are not creators, because not everybody is going to be a creator. They're not going to want to be a creator. They may want to support the infrastructure. They may want to support their favorite creator. What are some good ways that regular crypto or DeFi natives or interested investors can find ROI here with Flix.Fun and things that you're doing? Is it through
perfect.
Stream Swap? Is it through stuff like that?
Perfect. That's a very good question. I mean, see, it seems because we primarily are targeting media creators. I mean, media, we're talking about creators, but otherwise, homepage is pretty much for everyone. Like a brand can launch an homepage, a curator can launch an homepage, a fanboy can launch an homepage. Meaning, I'm a guy who loves, let's assume, Apple. I'll curate all sorts of Apple news. If I'm a curator, let's assume, as in case, a creator in Web3. I'll curate all kinds of deep podcasts from across. Make sure that they're uh, well featured, well promoted, and kind of content I can curate from other platforms like YouTube, X, and all of these are supported. So there is a possibility for everyone to create an homepage. You can create your own story homepage, meaning a timeline of events, how it happened, what it happened. It could be just a pictographical homepage, meaning a photographic guy putting up photos, simple, straightforward, nothing else. It's just a wall of photos. You could launch kind of just text-driven home pages, not maybe media rich. It could be just another launching is blog post, purely just text-driven. And all of these goes on chain, and all of these uses IPFS, and pretty much is censorship resistant, and you have full control. Not just that, every post and every widget can have multiple backups, meaning media node file is one sort of streaming. Your YouTube is another sort of streaming. Your X is another sort of streaming. So if one link goes down, there is two other links that's still there. So it's easy for them to make sure they have multiple backups of backups. So it's like one post that's published on three platforms has four links. For example, one is backup, three is three links from three platforms, and one is media node. So if YouTube goes down, it's okay. Their homepage is still functioning, and people can still discover, go through those three platforms, still consume content. And we're also majorly focused on making sure homepages are pretty much very SEO, uh, you know,
Oh, SEO
uh,
friendly. Okay, cool.
yeah, we'll make sure they're SEO friendly. They are, AI friendly for scraping content, making sure that all of this is highly rich, having high rich metadata for anyone to, go through as such. So yeah, we're attacking in all sides, and making sure we'll make you know, this run kind of run that will creators can have fun on Flix.Fun.
It's funny is, you mentioned it, and like now that you've talked about it and the whole, wall of images, I can see a whole bunch of fan pages being built on this infrastructure, right? Labubu's, as you mentioned. I have a friend, she's a fitness influencer. She could definitely, I mean, she's already interested in creating stuff like that. Um, Even if you are, like if you're a huge football fan of, say, like Arsenal or Man City or something like that, you have a favorite athlete that you love to feature, and you're just doing a a homepage as a fan tribute, and then finding that way to monet. I mean, you get to monetize something you love. I mean, it's such a powerful mechanism you guys have built here. I'm just seeing all of these ideas just pop up in my head. I mean, obviously this is somewhat DeFi focused, but at the same time, it could really break into the meta of just virality and just great memetics for anyone who wants to create something to get max distribution. So yeah, I,
Correct.
I I definitely see it. I definitely see it.
And with building kind of ecosystem on top of this homepage, like you could launch themes, you could launch widgets,
Yep.
integrations, meaning you could launch a new widget that can give commission to you, the homepage owner, something like this. You can charge a commission on top of any web3 transaction that goes through homepage. So we're targeting next set of widgets should be Web3 integrations, meaning swaps,
Okay.
anything it could be. So all of these you could feature on your homepage. You could do pretty much crazy stuff like it's like hyper rich Web2, Web3 curated,
So
controlled
there will
by
be
fully
extensibility, right? So if I want to do
a
like
lot.
a payment widget, or I have a Shopify
Correct.
store, stuff like that, all of
Correct.
that stuff can be put into these creator homepages.
Yes, and any kind of embeds are allowed. Like the embed code, you could
Hmm.
straight up put it here, and it renders, and everything happens as is. So, and on top of this, we are giving more control for Web3 transactions, as in like you could charge more, take commissions. It's like referrals, right? All of these. So, yeah, pretty interested, and looking forward to the kind of tooling that's going to happen, and uh, yeah, bullish on
Awesome.
what's come on Flix.Fun. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's just end with that. Thank you so much for being here today. Let the people know where they can find you and learn more about what you're doing.
Definitely. I mean, they could find me on just x.com. I'm not much on anywhere else. Otherwise, I'm a kind of person who loves privacy. So excuse me for
Understood.
that. Not
No,
not
it's
not a guy who holds megaphone. But otherwise, yes. But yes, they could find me on x.com/cosmation. Yes.
That's great. Thanks, Dia, for being here. Sit tight while we do the outro. But yeah, Flix.Fun, guys. Alpha launch coming very soon. Excited to be one of the first outlets to learn more about this. I'm going to be using this tool extensively, specifically for stuff I'm putting out there personally. If that's something that resonates with you, feel free to reach out. Happy to get you in touch with the team so you can get your creator homepage started and into your media node and get all of that started on chain as soon as possible. So we do this show every Wednesday, normally at 1 p.m. Eastern. Today we're at 12 p.m. Eastern. We've been doing this show every Wednesday since December 2021. We're here to educate, onboard, help you digest the news that's coming out there, and introduce you to great communities and projects, much like Dia's project here with Flix.Fun. So with that said, we'll see you next week for another great panel. Thanks again to Dia for being here. Go check us out, of course, at school.com/beacon. Again, completely free to join. Learn more about decentralized finance, take control of your finances, get an all-weather portfolio started, and even get into Flix.Fun. I think it's fantastic. With that said, take care. We'll see you next week. Beacons up, banks down. Take care, everybody. Have a great day.